Hello everyone, here is Masha and welcome on my YouTube channel. And I am ex-cabin crew. I used to fly for Qatar Airways for around 5 years, and today I'm gonna answer the questions which I get a lot and I used to get a lot, and today I will clarify everything. So let's start. And the first question is, what do cabin crew talk about on the pre-flight briefing? So first of all, pre-flight briefing is a meeting where team members meet. Usually for every flight we have different team, so that's the time when we introduce ourselves to each other, get acquainted with each other. Also, we discuss flight details. For example, we have some passengers with special needs, or there are some specific information about the flight. Maybe there is some route which we need to know and keep it in mind. In case of an emergency, we always think about where we fly over, water or mountain or land. Also, what we do on the pre-flight briefing is that we check that every team member is fit to fly. It means he is well rested, not fatigued, he understands where he is, because sometimes flying can be quite crazy and quite tough, that people can be so tired they don't even know where is the flight, where they are going to. So yeah, that's what we need to check on that pre-flight briefing. Also, we revise all the procedures, for example, in case of emergency or in case of some medical emergency. So the senior crew member would ask us questions, and yeah, they would also answer them as well, to refresh their mind, to refresh the procedures. And that's also how they can figure out if the person is fit to fly or not, because if the person is not cannot answer some question, maybe one is still fine, but if second, third question he's not confident, he doesn't know the answer, so that's the problem, and people can be even offloaded from the flight. But it never happened in my experience, but it can be. Because the most important thing, what is the cabin crew responsible for, is safety, right? So that's the most important part. One more question which I got recently is how do you deal with unruly passengers? It also didn't happen with me, thanks God, but we know the procedure. We are trained to deal with it. First of all, it's the talent to communicate, yeah. So to calm the person down, to reassure, to be there, to understand why that person is doing that. And if the person doesn't react to talking stuff, we of course, as a crew member, I can go and tell about this to the senior crew member or to the captain. And then what is the procedure? That we need to somehow restrain the passenger and calm him down. And if he can cause some really hard situations on the flight, we can even deviate from the route and land somewhere where we're not supposed to land. And there on ground, of course, there will be police, and yeah, the staff is taken really seriously. One more question which I get quite often is, how do you deal with jet lag? And yeah, I used to fly to different countries all the time. It can be US, it can be Australia, it can be Asia, and all of those countries, which I have a very big time difference with my normal time zone. So how to deal with it is just to try to sleep when it's night at the destination, yeah, at the city where you are. So just to force yourself not to sleep, maybe after the flight. For example, if we come to US and we land my time, it's already night, but in the US it's still afternoon, I would adjust to the US time. So I would not go to sleep. I would do my stuff, go out, go to eat, and then to sleep at night. Yeah, I'm very tired, but that's how it works. Also, sometimes it's really hard to fall asleep. It can be hard. even at night at the destination, and yeah, it can be quite messy, the schedule. So I tried also to take melatonin. I don't know if it helped me or not. I cannot track it actually. I was just trying to fall asleep and I took melatonin and I slept. And even without melatonin, I would also sleep. So, one more question. Are there any special entrances for cabin crew at the airports? Yes and no. So, I would say that I was based in Doha, yeah, and base is where all cabin crew live and where the airline is based, where the airline's airport is. So in Doha, we had our separate building, which was only for cabin crew. All the customs, all the security was over there, not at the main airport. But when we come, for example, to some other country, yeah, we would just land and go to the airport where all the passengers are. And yeah, there is no separate entrance for us, but there are separate lines to customs and to security check. Yeah, so it's yes and no, as well as when I was talking about pre-flight briefing, that in base, when we are in the city of base, we had that separate building for cabin crew, and there are rooms for our pre-flight briefing. So we are all in the room, sitting nicely and yeah, normally. But when we are coming home from outside, we are doing everything in the airport, or we are doing everything on board. And the next question is it possible to make a phone call from the plane? The answer is no, you cannot make a call from the plane. You can use Wi-Fi on board, but it's only for messaging. If you have ever seen a cabin crew calling somewhere, is only in the case of emergency. Usually it's medical emergency, like some airlines, they have this, some not, like more rich airlines, they can afford it. Some airlines cannot. So that's the service when you can call from the board to contact some medical staff, so doctors. For example, we have some medical emergency on board, someone feels not well, and we already have done everything which we could, but we don't know like what else can we do. So then the senior crew member usually goes to the pilot's cabin, to the cockpit, and from there they can somehow call. I've never seen it how it is, even though I'm a cabin crew. I've never done it because I was never a senior cabin crew. But yeah, they can somehow do that. Also, in Airbus 380, that tablet. For example, me as a cabin crew, I have a zone of my responsibilities. Yeah, I'm responsible for that zone. And in my zone, someone felt sick. So I'm taking this tablet, I'm going to that person, and I am like typing all the signs, vital signs, and somehow it connects to doctors and they can assess the situation and advise me. But I also never used it, just didn't need to, but that's a possibility of doing that. One more question which I got is what if pilot is unruly? Yeah, not unruly passenger, but a pilot. So thanks God I've also never had such a situation, and I think it's extremely rare situation. There are some cases when something happens to people who are managing this big plane, yeah, and everything, but it's so rare, like in the history it's almost impossible. But we can also somehow restrain the pilot, also communicate to the co-pilots, to some other authorities, and I think that it will be handled properly. And also we need to make sure that all the passengers are safe. Next question. Is it creepy to hear some sounds of the plane? I would say when you are flying a lot, like almost every day, like for me, I used to fly like 100 hours a month, 120 hours a month, so it's like a lot. And I knew all the sounds of the airplane. Maybe first times when I was flying as a new cabin crew, I was like somehow, triggered by, oh my God, what's that sound? What's that sound? I was not like scared of it, but I was just analyzing. I was listening to it. I was observing. And then after some time, I was just so used to it. I knew when the gears are down. I knew when the wings are adjusting somehow for landing, for example, or for takeoff. So yeah, I know how the engine is running. All those sounds I'm very familiar with, and if I hear something not usual, I would just go ask other cabin crew members. There are senior cabin crew members who definitely knew a lot because they flew like really, really a lot. So they would definitely tell me, and if even for them it's weird, we would definitely inform captain and they will check it as well. The next question is, are there some smoke detectors on board, and what would happen if somebody smokes? I would say that the aircraft is really safe place. There are a lot of smoke detectors everywhere, especially in lavatories. Lavatories is the name for toilets on board. Yeah, there are smoke detectors, and cabin crew check them before every flight to make sure that they are functional. There are also smoke detectors and fire extinguishers inside the bins in the lavatories. But there are some people who don't understand how serious the situation is, and they smoke on board, and I really don't understand what do these people think about, because that the safety not only about like all the people, but first of all that's their safety, yeah. And it's not that hard, I think, to wait till we land. I don't know, I'm not a smoker, so maybe some people cannot, but then I just don't understand why. Because it's a really serious matter. If a plane catches a fire, it will just burn down for 20 minutes. Of course, we have fire extinguishers. We as cabin crew, we can fight the fire. We are trained to fight the fire. But if we cannot do that, we will suffer, all of us. Yeah, and that's the person who smoked as well. So yeah, we are just observing. We're observing people who are inside the lavatories for a long time, because we're always there. We're watching everything. It doesn't mean that we are like watching the clock, how much time you were there inside, but then we also observe. We would hear the smoke, yeah, we would feel the smoke coming from the lavatory. And once I had such situation, and we had to write the warning to that person, and the procedure is that we just warn the person, and if the person doesn't cooperate, for example, she or he didn't know, right? That's weird, because we always say about this, but yeah, they didn't know, they didn't hear. So that's the warning. And then if they don't comply, we would just call the police on ground. It's taken really seriously. The police will also investigate over there, and it might be the case that the person would be banned from traveling with the airline. Yeah, so that's a very serious issue. Don't smoke on the plane. Also, the question which I got is about lavatories, like how do they function? Because some people, I don't know who, but maybe they think where all of this stuff going. So there are some reservoirs where all of this is going. No, nothing is falling on the heads of people down on the land. If the toilet is not functional, we will just block it. People will use just the rest of the toilets. And that all the toilets would be blocked, it's I don't know, it never happened. And also about if the cabin crew use the same toilet, yes, we use the same. And one more question for today is about sounds which inform cabin crew. For every type of an aircraft, we have different signals. Yeah, so Boeing is like this, Airbus is different system. So usually the most common is a call bell. So it's like when you're seated on the seat and then you press the call bell when you want to call a cabin crew. You press it and the cabin crew would see would hear some chime and color indications. So that color and that sound, it means that the passenger is calling from the seat. There is also another chime, another color, so it means maybe that somebody is calling from the cabin. The third type of chime and color, and that means it's somebody calling from the cockpit. As well, we have some chimes, some separate chimes and colors for some emergency situations, but it's really for different aircrafts are different, and we learn for all of the aircrafts what do those chimes and colors mean. Cabin crew can know just observing. We always observe the cabin, what's going on, all the chimes, all the colors, everything. Yeah, so we're always vigilant, we're always observant, and that's our job. So yeah, I hope this video was interesting for you, was useful. If you have any more questions which I didn't discuss today, you can leave them in the comments. And I will film some other videos about aviation, also about how to apply for a cabin crew job. I also have some other ideas, so just stay updated, stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next videos. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.